The world holds its breath tonight. Across the continent, a sense of unease settles in as millions tune in to breaking news, their eyes glued to screens, searching for answers and reassurance. Europe now lives under an 8-minute threat, the time it takes a Russian hypersonic missile to reach its capitals. In less than the span of a coffee break, entire cities could be changed forever. London, Paris, Berlin, all within this terrifyingly short window. These historic cities, symbols of culture and resilience, now face a danger that arrives faster than most can even comprehend. The age of days-long warnings is over. Now, it's a countdown measured in minutes. The Cold War's shadow lingers, but the pace of threat has accelerated beyond anything seen before. Sirens may not even sound before impact. The warning systems that once gave precious time may now be rendered obsolete, leaving people with little chance to react. This new reality follows a dramatic escalation from Moscow. The world watches as Russia flexes its military might, signaling a willingness to push boundaries and test the resolve of its adversaries. President Putin has placed his strategic forces on highest alert, sending shockwaves through NATO. The alliance scrambles to interpret Moscow's intentions, knowing that every second counts. An 8-minute window leaves no room for error or diplomacy. Just frantic, automated response. Decisions that once took hours must now be made in seconds, with the fate of millions hanging in the balance. The margin for miscalculation is almost zero. A single misunderstanding, a technical glitch, or a moment's hesitation could trigger catastrophic consequences. Europe is a tinderbox. A single spark could ignite an inferno. The tension is palpable, with authorities on high alert and citizens bracing for the unthinkable. Citizens wake up to a world that feels fundamentally less secure. Parents wonder how to explain this new danger to their children, while schools and workplaces quietly update emergency plans. News channels show grim-faced leaders, military analysts explaining the unthinkable. The public looks for guidance, but even the experts struggle to offer comfort in the face of such overwhelming risk. The psychological impact is immense. How can normal life continue under such a threat? Anxiety seeps into daily routines, changing the way people move, work, and interact. For NATO, this is the ultimate test. How do you deter a threat that moves faster than you can react? The alliance must rethink its strategies, investing in new technologies and rapid response protocols. Early warning systems and rapid response forces are challenged by this hypersonic reality. The race is on to develop defenses that can keep pace with the speed of modern warfare. The 8-minute countdown is not just a military problem, it's an existential crisis for the West. Political leaders debate next steps, while societies grapple with the psychological toll of living on a knife's edge. The stakes have never been higher. In this new era, every moment matters, and the world watches, hoping that reason prevails before the clock runs out. The military escalation was matched by a verbal assault of shocking intensity. As tanks rolled through city streets and the world watched in apprehension, the battle lines were drawn not just with weapons, but with words that cut just as deep. In a televised address broadcast to millions, Vladimir Putin hurled personal insults at Western leaders, calling the British Prime Minister a frightened poodle, the French President a gilded peacock. His words were calculated, designed to humiliate and provoke, not just to criticize. This was not diplomacy, it was provocation on a global stage. The language was sharper than ever, signaling a deliberate break from the usual codes of international conduct. Putin's message was unmistakable. The West is no longer a partner, but an adversary to be belittled and dismissed. The era of polite disagreement was over. To Russians he projected unwavering strength, Russia as a besieged fortress, forced to act in self-defense. The narrative was clear. The nation must unite against external threats. The State Duma erupted in applause, his power solidified in the eyes of the political elite. The message resonated, reinforcing his grip on authority. To the world, Putin declared the era of Western dominance over. He positioned Russia as a challenger, no longer willing to accept lectures or threats from abroad. Russia will not be lectured. Russia will not be threatened. The words echoed far beyond Moscow, a warning to anyone who might oppose him. The personal insults signaled a complete breakdown in relations. Trust, already fragile, was shattered in an instant, replaced by open hostility. This was a declaration of a new, more dangerous chapter, where respect is replaced by raw power. Global markets tumbled, investors reacting to the uncertainty and fear gripping the world. Diplomats scrambled to decipher his intent, holding emergency meetings late into the night. Every word, Every gesture was analyzed for clues about what might come next. Was this a prelude to war, or a high-stakes bluff? Analysts debated, but no one could say for sure. The stakes had never felt higher. The personal nature of the attacks made de-escalation nearly impossible. Pride and ego now stood in the way of compromise, making the path to peace even more uncertain. Putin had personalized the conflict, daring the West to respond. The world watched, holding its breath, as leaders weighed their next moves. The 8-minute clock is ticking. For them, not for him. Each second brings the world closer to an unknown future, the tension mounting with every passing moment. The world is left to wonder, what comes next? In this new era of confrontation, the answers are as unpredictable as the man at the center of it all. At the heart of this escalating crisis is a revolutionary new weapon, the Oreshnik hypersonic missile, a technological leap that has stunned military analysts worldwide. Unlike traditional ballistic or cruise missiles, the Oreshnik travels at speeds exceeding Mach 10, making it more than 10 times faster than the speed of sound. Its ability to maneuver unpredictably during flight means it can evade interception attempts with ease, weaving through the sky in ways that current defense systems simply cannot anticipate. Existing missile defense networks, even the most advanced, are nearly powerless against this new threat, leaving entire regions exposed and vulnerable. Each Oreshnik missile is equipped with multiple independently targetable warheads, known as MIRVs, allowing a single launch to threaten several cities or military bases at once. Imagine the terror of one missile suddenly splitting into 6 separate warheads, each one homing in on a different target hundreds of kilometers apart. Defenders are forced to track and attempt to destroy multiple erratic projectiles simultaneously, an almost impossible task, even for the most sophisticated militaries. Launched from Western Russia or Belarus, the Oreshnik can reach any European capital in a matter of minutes, leaving almost no time for warning or response. The English Channel and North Sea, once considered natural barriers, are now rendered meaningless by the missile's speed and range. The Oreshnik effectively erases Europe's strategic depth, putting every city from Paris to Warsaw directly on the front line and under immediate threat. Even when armed with conventional warheads, the sheer kinetic energy released upon impact is catastrophic, capable of devastating military installations and urban centers alike. But the Oreshnik's true danger lies in its ability to carry tactical nuclear devices, raising the stakes to an entirely new and terrifying level. This is a first-strike weapon specifically designed to decapitate enemy leadership and command structures before they have a chance to react or retaliate. The Oreshnik underpins President Putin's confidence while simultaneously forcing Europe to confront a new, far more dangerous reality. Overnight, the balance of power has shifted dramatically, plunging the continent into a new era of uncertainty and fear. To grasp the horror of the Oreshnik, imagine its impact. An object traveling at Mach 10 doesn't just explode, it vaporizes. A ministry building in London would turn to plasma in an instant. The heat would ignite everything nearby. Glass melts, steel warps, air superheats. The blast wave would flatten buildings for blocks, hurling debris at deadly speeds. Survivors of the initial flash would face a storm of shrapnel. Underground infrastructure would be pulverized. Fires would merge into a firestorm. Smoke and dust would create a toxic twilight. In 8 minutes, a city center could become a smoldering wasteland. Just across NATO's border, Russia has built a massive new base in western Belarus. Near Grodno, it's less than 15 miles from Poland, 25 from Lithuania, right at the vulnerable Suwalki Gap. This base is a dagger at NATO's heart, allowing Russian forces to cut off the Baltic states. It bypasses NATO's eastern defenses, stretching the alliance's resources. Satellite imagery shows silos and mobile launch pads for Oreshnik missiles. Launching from Belarus shaves minutes off the countdown to Berlin or Warsaw. Belarus is now a launch pad for surprise attacks on Europe. President Lukashenko has handed over Belarusian sovereignty. His forces are integrated into Russia's command. The buffer state is gone. Now, there's a direct, hostile border. The Belarus base is both a military and political threat. Putin is redrawing Europe's security map by force. Intelligence reveals the Belarus base is a self-contained military city. It houses up to 30,000 troops, with vast underground bunkers for command, ammo, and living quarters. The base features airfields for advanced jets, electronic warfare systems to jam NATO, and direct rail links to Russia. Most alarming bunkers for tactical nuclear warheads, ready for missiles like the Oreshnik. Their forward deployment blurs the line between conventional and nuclear war. For over a year, The area was disguised as an environmental zone. Construction was hidden from satellites. Thousands of Russian engineers worked in secrecy. The world is only now realizing the base's true purpose: to give Russia a decisive advantage and hold Europe hostage. The threat is immediate and unprecedented. The threat isn't just on land. In the North Atlantic and Arctic, Russia's Belgorod submarine carries the Poseidon nuclear torpedo, a doomsday device. Poseidon can cross oceans undetected, detonating near coastlines to create radioactive tsunamis. Entire cities could be rendered uninhabitable for decades. Alongside Belgorod, Yasen-class submarines, NATO's silent hunters, prowl the seas, armed with hypersonic missiles. These subs can strike with almost no warning, anywhere in the world. Putin's naval buildup breaks out of old constraints, threatening global targets. The message: Russia's ambitions are not just European, they're global. The silent hunters have changed the rules of deterrence. NATO is on high alert, activating rapid response forces and round-the-clock air patrols. Naval fleets track Russian submarines in the North Atlantic and Baltic. It's the largest mobilization since the Cold War. The Oreshnik has triggered a frantic arms race. The West is pouring billions into hypersonic weapons and defenses, an immense technological challenge. New space-based sensors and high-speed interceptors are needed, but success is uncertain. NATO's Secretary General warns, "We are at a dangerous crossroads." Moscow's actions have shattered European security. NATO vows to defend every inch of Allied territory, but options are limited. The risk of accidental war, triggered by a glitch or false alarm, has never been higher. The alliance faces deep fractures and urgent decisions. The hypersonic threat means choices must be made in minutes, not hours. The new arms race is a race against time itself. The world stands on a knife's edge. The 8-minute countdown is both literal and symbolic. Time for diplomacy is running out. Communication between Washington and Moscow is tense and mistrustful. Putin's aggression makes compromise nearly impossible. Is this a high-stakes bluff or a prelude to war? Even intelligence agencies are divided. For Europeans, the illusion of peace is shattered. Air raid drills and emergency tests return. The psychological toll is immense. A war of nerves, fought with hypersonic timelines. The path forward is uncertain, every move is scrutinized, every word analyzed. Quiet diplomacy may yet find a way to de-escalate, but with troops on alert and fingers on triggers, the risk of miscalculation is terrifyingly real. The final countdown has begun. Can anyone stop the clock?